What's up my good smelling fellas, I'm Ify, and in this video I'm going to talk about a brand that has been really popular about 10 years ago. It still is, but it is overlooked these days because there are so many brands, affordables, and they are great compared to Avon. Back then there weren't many brands that could give you good fragrances at an affordable price. We had the usual, the popular designer fragrances, we had the fakes of the designer fragrances, we had some affordable fragrances that weren't easy to find because the online market wasn't as big as it is these days, and of course we had Avon fragrances. What Avon had to offer were fragrances that smelled common, that were pretty much safe. They smelled, yes of course, they were inspired by the designer fragrances, but they weren't exactly clones, and also for the price they had a decent performance. Back then I personally had no idea how long should a fragrance last. But are Avon fragrances still good in 2018? Well guys, I have a couple of them and I'll tell you my opinion about them. So I have both fragrances for men and women. The ones for women belong to my lady, and she used to have these before we even met. Nowadays, after introducing her to other brands, the oriental ones like Rasasi and Armaf, she doesn't look into Avon fragrances anymore, except if she finds some really great deals. Now, the ones I'm holding in my hand are two staples from Avon. This is Incandescence and this is Black Suede Touch. These are fragrances that remind you of your teenage days. Now, this is Incandescence and it is quite an old Avon fragrance. It does smell quite similar to Christian Dior J'adore, and it is a yellow flower smell. It is pretty safe scent, pretty light. I do like it. I could see it as a signature scent. This one is Black Suede Touch for him, and this one, guys, is, in my opinion, it is pretty unique. I have not smelled anything like this before. It is quite youthful. It does remind me of my teenage days. I used to wear this a lot during my late years in high school and my beginning of college, and I did find it very pleasing and very nice during these days, the modern days. So this fragrance, guys, is not dated at all, and I wore it lately and I did receive compliments in 2018, and it does perform pretty well. This is one of their best releases, and I have to say that buying fragrances from Avon is worth it only if you go for fragrances like this. The ones that you know for sure they smell great and they are always going to work. I imagine when smelling this fragrance, I imagine a teenager wearing a leather jacket and driving a nice car. But this is not only for teenagers, even though it does have a very youthful smell. Now these two, which are quite new compared to the others, Avon Aqua Intense for him and Avon Aqua for her. These two fragrances are pretty generic fresh fragrances. This one for him smells like a combination of Versace Pure Homme, Chanel Allure Sport Extreme, and Versace Eau Fresh. Not a bad fragrance. It does smell a bit synthetic. The bottles are decent, but not the best. The one for the ladies doesn't remind me of any other fragrance for the ladies, but most likely it is inspired by some other popular fragrance. It does smell like melon, and it does have a very nice tropical smell. I could see myself wearing this. I find this to be quite unisex, but I don't find these fragrances as unique as, for example, Black Suede Touch for him. These fragrances are the reason why Avon fragrances are not worth it that much. So guys, to recap this and to give you an overall idea if Avon fragrances are worth buying these days, well, if you're going for the staple, if you're going for the big hits from Avon, like Avon Tomorrow for him or Avon Black Suede Touch for him, if you're looking for something to remind you of your teenage moments, of your high school and college, then yeah, go for those fragrances. But if you're looking into the newer fragrances, well, Let's say that for the price they have, especially if you know someone who's an Avon representative, they can get some really great deals. So if you want to try some of the fragrances through those representatives, like I did, then yeah, you could try them, but you will see that they are not worth collecting them. But let me give you an idea where Avon fragrances are standing compared to the other popular brands. I would put Avon fragrances below Zara fragrances in both quality and price. Performance-wise though, I believe the Avon fragrances last longer, maybe because they are a bit more synthetic. Also, I prefer Zara fragrances over these because they are easier to get. You just walk into a store, you can try them, and then you can buy them if you like them. So that was it, guys. What's your opinion on Avon fragrances? Do you still think they are worth buying in 2018? Until the next video, guys, keep spelling great.